第9章魔女のよみがえる日
Quadrillion. There's only one place you'll find that word on Okajima. Gold butterflies flitted from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops. Man, I'm just imagining this. We are gonna be solving the epitaph here once again, and Beatrice is gonna find the golden land, the room of gold. What if this is actually a huge, gigantic, fucked up surprise party for Beatrice? Like, the entire family is there to surprise Beatrice. Once she finds the solution and finds the gold, everybody will be all, surprise! And once Beatrice is there, she'll be all, yep, this is why I had you all killed in 1986. It was the chapel, the mysterious building, one of the oldest on Okajima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. It was called a chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and the members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose was always a mystery. Alright, well, let's see. So we got the right there. Now, I am pretty curious of the next steps. Cause, again, the way I envision us finding the room of gold would be like something that has to do with the plate on the door. I feel like we're gonna have to press the letters, like the letters, like right there. Because it says in the epitaph, gouge. Like specifically the word gouge. It's not necessarily that you're killing off letters, but also you're like gouging the letters into the plate. And those are like buttons, and if you press those, well, you're gonna have like a secret entrance. Now, I am also thinking of the anagram, like the Lord U, and I'm thinking that you're gonna have to press those buttons in that order, L, O, R, D, and U. You have to press those in that order, and then it will open. Because if you were to press, then it wouldn't work. Now, when it comes to figuring out that it is an anagram, though, you know, I was looking at the letters, and I was thinking, well, why not try anagram? But I wonder if there is some way of making us think, okay, I have to do the anagram. I wonder if there is another step that I missed here. Let's see. However, any mystery will lose its luster of several decades. Maybe there is something in the epitaph that I missed that made me think that I have to do the anagram. Because the reason I did the anagram is because, well, it looked really, really cool. Like it was one of the random things that I did, and I found out that you can get like Lord U. At some point, everyone forgot that chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts on Okenjima's residence. Of course, this had been true for Bato as well. Bato, who had hated boredom, had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory of the place was of the time she went in there to taunt Shannon, and she tried to clean. Whoa, hold on a second. The way she said that, quadrillion. Sounds like Quadorian. Oh my god. Did Kinzo just go with that word quadrillion also because it sounded similar to Quadorian? Oh my god. It could be possible. It would be like a nice little detail there, but wow. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there.
お前は1000兆分の1の確率でしか祝福されないか。あの謎を解ける者が現れる確率をそなたは1000兆という名の奇跡に見立てたのか。
This chapel was built long ago. But there is a mechanism like the one I imagined. Kinzo must have prepared that epitaph riddle many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ritual for choosing a fitting successor all this time. However, that ritual is now a ritual to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. Yeah, you know, before, like, remember when I was talking about those ideas of how, who knows, maybe Shannon is the one who came up with the epitaph for Balor to solve or something like that. She ordered the epitaph to be made, she ordered a portrait to be made, but, you know, that doesn't really explain, like, the relief on the door. Unless it was said that, that relief was also put here, like a short while, but no. There was some detail, like a while ago, that the relief was here since the construction of the chapel. Or it was something along the lines of the relief looked so old that it made it look like that it was here since the creation of the chapel, and it was not something that was put recently. And yeah, if this was put like right here since the creation of the chapel, then yeah, Kinzo is the one who made the epitaph. He made the epitaph like a long time ago, and then I guess decided recently to put the epitaph like on display as well, so that people can use both the epitaph and what is said on the relief to solve the puzzle. So yeah. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged, and several dead trees sprouted out of it, curving and twisting like snakes. Now, the question still remains though. Like, what motivation would Beatrice have for Balor to solve the epitaph? Because, as far as I can see, it doesn't really have that much of a connection to the sin. Beatrice would definitely have Balor focus a lot on the sin. But the epitaph? I may have had some ideas before, but I think I'm forgetting here. They twisted around each other to form a ladder, which leaned itself against the door. Oh? I slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. And this close up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground.
そういえば、礼拝堂を大掃除するとき、あの源氏がわざわざこのレリーフだけは自らの手で磨いていたな。
So that nobody else would accidentally like do something to the relief that would be suspicious. Only Genji would clean that because he knew how to handle the relief without doing anything that would open like any doors.
その程度のこと、なぜ若い使用人に任せぬのかと不思議に思っていたものだが。
Was this something that was actually said before? This little detail? Was this ever mentioned before? That Genji was the only one who polished that? I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. Cause if this detail was actually said before, I feel like this actually could have helped me in the epitaph as well, in terms of, okay, could there be some mechanism around that would enable us to go and find the gold? And one would think, okay, how come only Genji would go and polish that himself and nobody else? That's because there is something on that relief that Genji doesn't want us to use or touch or something, and that could very well be the mechanism. He doesn't want anybody else to randomly touch the buttons, so that we would find the gold without solving the epitaph. Maybe it could have helped. Or maybe it's one of those situations where if the story told us that detail like early on, maybe it would have been too easy. Who knows? I always accepted the excuse. But now I understand. There must be a trick to this relief. And Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one else accidentally found out. Yep.
このクワドリリオンから鍵の選びし6文字を生贄に捧げるということか。
I prodded and played with the letter Q. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. Or, okay, I did say that we're gonna have to gouge the letters, like Lord Yu, but we're gonna have to... I guess we're gonna have to gouge the other letters, and then leave the rest, like Lord Yu, like untouched. Let's see. However, I quickly realized that something felt strange about it.
この文字まさか。いや、そうでなくてはならん。でなくては生贄に捧げられぬからな。
Nato grabbed a hold of the letter Q, and after experimenting with different levels of force, the letter came out with a scraping sound. Ooh.
やはりな。
Here's the Q I pulled out. And there's a wedge. No. It's a key. Oh? A key was attached to the back of the Q, and that had been stuck into a keyhole in the relief. Oh!
そういうことか。ならば、あとはわかるぞ。よしよし、この9の鍵は違う。お前は外れだ。
Nato carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This was the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling out the keys for the 6 letters representing the key.
A も生贄であるな。そして I も2つ生贄だ。最後の N も生贄か。L は1文字を生贄であるが、困ったぞ。L は2つあるではないか。
That is true. Like, there are 2 L's. One of them would have to be sacrificed. But which one? Maybe it's in the epitaph as well. Cause, well, same thing as with the DR. Like, the 2 who are close. I wonder if there's something in the epitaph that will tell us which L would need to be sacrificed. Yeah, I don't have the epitaph on me like at hand here. I didn't know which I should sacrifice. I tried putting both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is the right answer and one is the wrong answer.
どうせ2通りしかない。誤りだったらもう片方を試せばいいだけのこと。
Unless Messino sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Thinking it a waste of time to sit here worrying, I decided on the L on the right and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word.
これにて第1の番は終了だ。続いて第2の番。
On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. Nah, you know what? I refuse to believe that we just have to choose like one L and see if it'll work, and if not, we will choose the other L and that will definitely work. Like, the epitaph thus far has been very, very, very detailed slash obsessed with every single little step that needs to be done in order to solve the epitaph. And now we are going with a random choice that we have to make when it comes to both the L's. I don't know. I mean, I certainly skipped some steps and still reached this conclusion right over here, but... well, that's all me. But the epitaph itself...
D と R が寄り添っているな。これを引き裂くとはいかに。抜けばよいのか。
But if I do, there will only be 3 letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines from the 4th twilight onwards meant.
えぐりて殺せはおそらく鍵をひねって回してから引き抜けという意味であるに違いない。となれば頭から足はおそらく左の文字鍵から右へ順にそれを行えという意味に違いあるまい。
The parts about going from head to leg must mean starting at the left and going right? You mean the head is on the left side and the legs are on the right, as if sitting on the bed? If that's the case, 5 letters have to remain on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean kill.
それで引き裂けと考えた場合、この D と R、2次の間隔を空けよと読み取れるな。しかし、どうやる。またしてもやり方は2通りであるぞ。
Do I remove the D and move it to the left? Do I remove the R and move it to the right? After pondering this for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong. Hmm.
違う。そうではないのだ。さっきの L から間違っていた。
A short while ago, I removed the right of the 2 L's. However, if I remove the left one, it would look like this. If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. The R gets shifted to the right. This way, all the letters are spread out evenly. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. Now we're gonna be going through that process of figuring out Lord U, aren't we? So again, it's not just anagram in the sense of like the way I did it, like at random. There is gonna be some tactic over here that would enable us to reach Lord U. Let's see. L-O. This must be it.
そして次がまた難題であるぞ。我が名を称えよとな。
It's already clear that this is a word. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. I'm supposed to do something with the remaining 5 letters. Most likely rearrange them.
U, D, R, L, O。この5文字をどうにかすると何かの意味になるということか。
Praise my name.
ここまで来てわけのわからぬ謎をこの5文字でどう我が名とやらを称えろというのか。
The man's name is Fushirimiya Kienzo. If the U part of is the U part of Ushiromiya? No, several letters don't match, and there aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiromiya.
我が名とは金蔵を指すことだけは間違いない。ならばやはり U は後ろ宮を指すのか。イニシャルであるとか。ならば D、R、L、O は何を意味する。金蔵も意味せん。R、O でまさか六軒島を。六軒島の主金蔵。字数がまるで足らぬ。
This riddle left me totally confused. However, there are only 5 letters left. There can't be so many possible combinations of those letters. I could use process of elimination. Thinking I play around with it, I pulled out the U. There were 4 letters left. DRLO. My idea that the U stood for Ushiromiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making a word with the remaining 4 letters. DRL and O. Those 4 letters spun around in my head, changing their orders, and led me to a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo. Oh, there you go.
ロードだ。ロード。
Yeah, there you go. I had absolutely no basis for it. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. Oh, okay. So it was a flash of inspiration slash random thought that would make you think, okay, how about we try an anagram? And it worked. There wasn't necessarily like a thing that we need to reason out in order to make us think, okay, it has to be an anagram. Which kind of made me think, why did we need to change the L's there? But, okay, it's not necessarily that it helps with the epitaph solving, but more that we need to make the mechanism work perfectly. Like, it has to be one of the L's, no matter what. So I think that Beatrice's reasoning for choosing that particular L, it's probably the right one. Although a bit of a random one, but whatever. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash faded from my mind.
L O R D ロード U 後ろ宮京どうか。
Ushiromiya Kyo. Huh. Sneaky bastard.
第4の番に頭をえぐりって。
He was a key, so he wouldn't turn if it was the wrong. But it did turn. I could gouge it. With the sound of scraping stone, I gouged the first letter, the L, and then pulled it out.
次第5の番胸をえぐりて殺せ。
The O was gouged and pulled out easily. Then the R. Next the D. And finally the U. When I turned the key of the U, I could feel a resistance, as though some mechanism had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I have felt something happen. This door or something must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. Probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed.
第9の番に魔女はよみがえり誰も生き残れはしない。
So now, has the witch, have I revived? The 10th twilight. The journey ends, and you shall reach the home of the gold. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I mainly noticed that small change.
ライオンの像が。
Oh, The statue. At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. Oh. What an elaborate mechanism. This brings me back to one little thing that I noticed like early on. When Rosa was retelling her story with Beatrice falling off the cliff and came back. And she mentioned some, like, the lion. And Eva asked, which one? The one in the front? And Rosa was like, no, the one in the back. Anyway, and then continuing on with the story, I noticed like something really different with that, but I never really managed to know what that was, and I wonder if this has something to do with this. Like there was some sneaky little detail there when it comes to that. Did Kinzo plan up this extravagant device back when he first started building on Silent? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Yeah, but what does this mean though? I'm definitely gonna have to go back to what Rosa said about that and see if that helps me in anything. So, yeah, what is this? Is this gonna be a thing where the lion can be pushed now and we can go under it? Like there's a hole under the lion statue? Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. In that case, is the lion looking at something in particular now? Does it point us to the direction where the entrance opened up? I followed its line of sight. I saw another lion statue. Oh my god. Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me that it points us to the direction of the well. And the lion statue had also changed its direction. There. It has been a while since I've seen you with that face, Beatrice. I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up such an intricate device. And having it go undiscovered for all these years. There were lion statues standing like guards at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction that they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. The back of the chapel. There was something there. It was no longer a surprise. This was after the mechanism and the relief, after being guided by the lions. So when the gaping open secret passageway appeared, with stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore. Okay, never mind. I was thinking it was the well, but okay. It has been 2 years since I started this. Yeah, it has been 2 years since I got introduced to the epitaph. I have solved it on the way here, with a few steps that I've skipped, but I managed to figure out the solution. Mostly, like 90% of it. And now we're here. Yep, it is another step that makes you aware that the journey will end soon enough.
過去のゲームによるならば、そこには地下の貴賓室があり、そして10トンの黄金が。
Yeah, that must be it.
はい。地下への武骨な階段を降りていくと、突き当たりには扉が。中はまさに貴賓室と呼ぶべき美しき内装でした。
見つけたのは 黄金だけだったのか？
はい、その時は積み上げられた黄金に目がくらまぬわけもありませんでした。これは本物なのか。
Okay. I lightly touched the pot of gold with finger. It was hard and cold. I'd almost thought that it might crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. No, there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I had just found, I figured I would be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight, was a feeling as though I didn't enter the place I wasn't supposed to be. For a while, all I could do was stand there shocked, unsure what I should do now that the epitaph's riddle had been completed. And then I heard approaching footsteps. They were coming from the stairway I had entered by. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? If he found out I'd been placed like this, would I get scolded harshly? I thought about hiding and pretending this never happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there, stunned, in front of the pile of gold, as the footsteps drew closer and closer. The door opened. I saw who it was. It wasn't Kinzo.
そなたは。
自分の力だけでたどり着いたのか。
うん。
You know, it made me think a little bit on why Genji decided to tell Shannon and Kanon that Taiwan was Kinzo's old hometown. Something tells me that it has something to do with what Kinzo said, like previously, to Genji while they were in the study room. He was crying at that point. Not because he missed his Beatrice and was like, "Oh, Beatrice!" No, at that point he was crying because he was feeling regrets, and he did say that he wanted to apologize to Beatrice. And you know, something tells me that that is what Genji had in mind when telling Shannon and Kanon that it was Taiwan. It was at that point that Genji thought, okay, Kinzo definitely seems to be regretting his past, and if it was possible to turn back time and apologize to Beatrice, and especially apologize to the daughter of Kuwadori and Beatrice, it will be at this point. So Kinzo gave it the green light and told Shannon like what Kinzo's old hometown was, therefore enabling Shannon to pursue the epitaph some more to the point of solving it. And well, now we're here. Genji Genji wanted Shannon slash Yasuda to solve this, so that once we're here, now the whole truth can be revealed. And now, more than likely, what will happen is we're gonna go to Kinzo, and then they're gonna talk to each other about the past. And finally, Yasuda will learn of her past. I feel like this could very well be what will happen next. So yeah, there is a reason for why Genji decided to name drop Taiwan at that point. For some time, Genji stared at Bato in silence, as though he was calculating something. Yeah, see, there you go. This is what I was talking about before, when it comes to going back to the previous episodes of Umineko and thinking, what is Genji thinking of at this point? Well, there could be some interesting stuff that you could discover if you were to think of Genji, similar to this. So, yeah, like one day when I seriously go back and reread the episodes, this is gonna be one of the things I'm mostly interested in, like the mind of Genji. He is a pretty silent guy, not gonna lie. So, yeah. And then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again, over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me.
親方様は碑文を最初に解いた者に黄金と家督のすべてを譲り渡すとおっしゃられた。そしてその人物がベアトリーチェであると信じた。
ベアトリーチェ、私が？
これは運命だ。お前は今日を迎えるのが運命だったのだ。
I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. And the shock of seeing the ghost still had me paralyzed.
こっちへ来なさい。
はい。
Genji opened a closet. Inside it was a dressed form wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. Oh! When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress. I mean, I assume that you want her to wear that dress from now on. Is that really necessary? Oh my god. What if I'm wrong? Like, in this, what if... Okay, I'm thinking of some really bad thoughts right over here, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for right now. The black dress worn by Beatrice in the portrait.
これに着替えなさい。
これは？
かつてお前が着ていたものだ。
I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was the one that Beatrice wore. And the one who shows a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I had succeeded the position of the real Beatrice. The one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the golden witch who rules over Tokenjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I was never the real Beatrice. I was a different witch, stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now, I have become the real Beatrice. By solving the epitaph's riddle, I would achieve my resurrection. I was the one who decided on that rule. Or so I thought. But as it turns out, this really was a ritual to resurrect Beatrice. I believed that I could create my own fate with magic. I was a master of that magic, yet fate had led me here by the hand. At this moment, I was forced to truly accept and believe in this world called fate.
これを着たら
親方様のところへ行く。支度をしなさい。ここで待て。
はい。
Oh, and the song.
親方様、源氏でございます。
After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone.
このような日が来るとは、運命とは本当に不思議なものです。
Kumasawa was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. My heart raced. It wasn't supposed to matter who solved the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Everyone else maintained solemn expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. The suffocating silence continued. Eventually, the door opened, and Genji peeked out.
お入りください。ベアトリーチェ様。
He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago.
さあ、どうぞ、ベアトリーチェ様。
Masa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kyunzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked.
金蔵さん、いらっしゃいましたぞ。
Kenzo was before the portrait of Beatrice, crouched on the ground as though kneeling. And not just words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Kenzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder.
ベアトリーチェ。ベアトリーチェ。
Had he even forgotten how to stand up? He crawled over to where I was. As he called out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago, I was too stunned to move. Then, Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress, gripped it tightly, and then curled up and sobbed.
ベアトリーチェ。すまなかった、すまなかった。お前の心は分かっていたのに、私は何という。すまなかった。許しておくれ。許しておくれ。
There was nothing I could say. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is packed with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, there are none in this world capable of giving such forgiveness. It was like that for Kinzo. There was no longer anyone in the world who would give that to him. But a miracle had woven on together, and in this moment, he had obtained the impossible.
おお、ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェ。たとえ許してくれなくてもいい、何も言わなくてもいい。私はお前にただ一言謝れればそれでよかった。うわあ。
Kenzo kept grasping the dresser's hem and sobbing. And the sins of humans are not forgiven by other people. And they find forgiveness through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of it, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. Kenzo's sobbing gradually ceased, and he slowly looked up at me and arose. He staggered. Nanja rushed forward to support him. And this time, his words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond.
今日まで親方様に内密にしておりましたことをどうかお許しください。
Oh!
よいのだ源氏。私の犯した罪を思えば、今日までの日々はすべて贖罪のために必要な日々であったのだ。
しかし、今日の奇跡は紛れもなく本物の奇跡でございます。彼女は誰の助けもなく、自分誰よりも最初に碑文を解いたのです。
よくぞあの難解な碑文を解けたな。
はい。
母の声によく似ておる。面影も母や娘を思い出す。紛れもなくお前にはベアトリーチェの血が流れておる。
はい、若き日のクアドリアンのお嬢様の面影がよく残っております。
Who are they saying I look like?
ベアトリーチェ様、これまであなたにも秘密にしてきたことをどうかお許しください。あなたはベアトリーチェ様と親方様よりお生まれになったのです。
真実でございます。あなた様は今日まで両親のいない子として育てられてまいりました。しかし本当のお父上は親方様、そして本当のお母上はベアトリーチェ様なのでございます。
それは本当に？
はい、あなたは本当にベアトリーチェ様のご子孫でございます。
It's such a strange fate. Really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it'd be like to be the Golden Witch, Beatrice. But that dream was for me alone. So, I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ritual, I would revive as the true Beatrice. Is it really conceivable that after I solved this, Beatrice actually did revive?
私が本当にベアトリーチェの血を。
はい、一切の紛れはございません。
今日まで親子の愛情も知らず、さぞやおつらい思いをされてきたでしょう。にもかかわらず、本当にご立派に育たれました。
皆さんは知ってたんですか？私のことを。
Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, that explains so many things. I was always, in some way, special. Genji, and especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then, does that mean this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all God's miracle. The promised fate has led me to this day.
ベアトリーチェ。いや、リオン。
Ugh.
そなたに与えようと思っていた名前だ。あなたの本当の名前でございます。
Yeah, sounds about right.
リオン、今こそそなたにベアトリーチェより与えられたすべてを返そう。あの黄金もそれによって生み出された後ろ宮家のすべてもそなたに返そう。
Kinzo stuck out a wrinkled hand. On his finger was a ring with a one-winged eagle crest, which was the symbol of the Ushiromiya family head. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and then held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palms up. After pressing his fist against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hand and let the ring drop.
我が子リオンよ、今日までお前の運命をもてあそんだのはすべて私の罪のせいだ。許しておくれ。そなたは今や我が指輪を受け継ぎ、正しく新しい後ろ宮家の当主である。あの黄金はすべてそなたのもの。好きに使い、今日までの日々の辛き思い出をわずかでも癒すがいい。あの程度の黄金、私の犯した罪には到底及びはせぬが、それでもそなたを慰めるくらいはできるはずだ。
ありがとうございます。
リオン、最後に一つだけ頼みがある。
何でしょうか？
私を呼んでくれぬか？
え？すみません。今なんと？
私をお父様と呼んでくれぬか？呼べぬ気持ちはわかる。私はそなたに何も父らしいことをしなかった。そしてそなたもまた父など知らずに育った。とても口にできる言葉ではないと分かっている。そしてそれを求める資格が私にないことも分かっている。だがそれを承知で頼む。
Alright. You know what? I guess this is the first time that I am actually gonna be giving Kinzo a thumbs up. A little bit over here. Just a tiny little thumbs up. Because, you know, with what we've been led to all this time, it is easy for someone like Kinzo at this point to fall back into that hole with that sin and ask her to call him his like her lover instead of her father. It is easy to fall into that yet again. I mean, that is like that is why I've also been worried. Okay, we're going through all this, but why did you have her dress as the old Beatrice? I was a little bit worried on that front. But nonetheless, it is quite something.
それさえ聞けたなら、もう私に何の未練もない。
After being asked like that, was it possible for me to refuse? Even if I'm his child, I cannot see him as my father. I mean, Kinzo, you have suffered for years at this point. But when it comes to her, it is a lot to take in, that's for sure. This is a lot of stuff for her to take in, so I don't know. So I felt a strong resistance to saying that word. But I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Only God can truly forgive sins. But though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others. That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both of his eyes. At that moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away.
ありがとう、リオ。我が子よ。そしてベアトリーチェ。最後に許しを請う機会を与えてくれてありがとう。もちろんこれしきで許されたとは思いません。続きは地獄の豪華で焼かれながらとしようではないか。後ろ宮金蔵、我が生に一切の未練なし。もはや何もなし。心残りもやり残しも何もなし。うわは
And looking up to the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure, known only by those who have been released from all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees, like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly fell to the ground.
親方様。
南條先生。
I guess so. That must have been his last fire. Now their master had fallen. They walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Janjo shook his head and stood back up.
大往生だ。何の心残りもないだろ
う。親方様は、あるいはもうずっと以前にお亡くなりになっていたのです。それを親方様の魔法と執念で今日までを流らえていたに過ぎないのです。そしてベアトリーチェ様に謝罪する機会をようやく得て、すべてを終えられたのでしょう。
安らかにお眠りください。あなたは罪を 償われたと信じます。
お父様。
That was the one night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell.
この黄金はすべてあなたのものです。現金化をご希望でしたら、そのように手配することもできます。
200億円の価値があるそうです。もうあんたにはこの世で金で叶えられぬ夢はありませんな。
急にこんな大金が手に入っても使い道に困ってしまいますね。
お金で手に入れられるものの中に私の欲しいものはありません。ですからこれは当分はそのままにしておこうと思います。
Okay. Of course, I'm glad I have a lot of money. However, money can't heal the pain in my heart. I just don't want him to come back.
かしこまりました。では、そのようにいたします。それから、この鍵を。
これは
この地下貴賓室へ至る鍵です。これを使えば、もう仕掛けを使う必要はありません。
Okay. She was the only one who knew the answer to the Aptos riddle, and the only key to this place was now hers. At this point, she truly was the master of this golden VIP room, and is now officially the Golden Witch.
あなたはもはや、この六軒島の主です。この島のすべての秘密をお知りになられる資格があります。
クワドリアンのことも話すべきでしょうな。
あなたのお母上がお過ごしになられた隠し館です。お噂くらいはお聞きになったことがあるでしょう。
クワドリアン。
この島の両端には2つの屋敷があります。一方は私たちのよく知るお屋敷、もう一方はクワドリアンと呼ばれる隠し屋敷でございます。
この島の地下には戦争中に作られた基地の跡があるのです。親方様はそれを利用されて島の両端を行き来されておりました。
この部屋の奥に地下道があり、それを進めば島の反対側のクワドリアンの地下につながります。親方様しかご存知でない秘密の屋敷です。もちろんその屋敷ももはや新しき当主のものです。
あんたのお母さんが暮らしていた屋敷だ。一度行ってみるのもいいだろう。
私のお母さん。
I have lived alone my whole life. The only person I've ever felt like calling mother is Kumasawa, who always helped me out. The mansion where a mother I've never met nor seen lived. Who in the world am I?
何でもお尋ねください。今のあなたには全てを知る資格がございます。
今は何が何だかわからなくて、何から聞けばいいかもわかりません。でもきっとたくさん聞きたいことがこれから見つかると思います。
Oh, I can imagine there's a lot of questions, indeed.
その時教えてください。
かしこまりました。
あと、そんなにかしこまられると居心地が悪いです。 これまでと同じ口調で話しかけてくれた方が嬉しいです。
それをお望みでしたら、そのようにもいたします。
私もその方が気楽です。
さて、これからどうするんだ、源氏さん。金蔵さんは亡くなった。
旦那様と奥様にお亡くなりになられたことをお伝えします。そしてリオン様が正式な当主後継者であることをお伝えしなくてはなりません。
Now I am curious about this, cause okay, we know that Natsuhi and Kraus hid the death of Kinzo, but I was questioning before if they actually knew if Yasuda is the successor to the headship. If they actually knew that as well, and they hid that as well. It does make me question. Because if Genji's gonna tell them this as well, then it is an interesting thing. But, you know, it could be possible that we're gonna have some interference and have them not know that Yasuda is the new successor. Let's see.